dinilit nila ang position tracer. Kasi meron sila dito, may amendment sila dito. Kaya no more amendments. Kasi wala na itong amendments because this is already the original law. So hindi na is-here by amendment to as follows. Kasi hindi na original law to sir. Tinanggal na nila yung
binawi nila.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise for the arrival of the Honorable Senate President and the Senators of the Republic of the Philippines.
10, 11.
The 54th session of the Senate in the third regular session of the 17th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Pampilo Lacson will lead the chamber in prayer.
We come before you, O loving Heavenly Father, as the sun rises into this new day. May eternal love rise in our hearts, a love that makes us instrument of thy peace, a love that seeks only truth and harmony in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
The Senate choir will lead us in the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Sa langit mong magaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal.
Meron? The Secretary will please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 13 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 42nd session, December 10 and 11, 2018, and the 43rd session, December 13, 2018, and the 53rd session, February 8, 2019, and consider them as approved. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, before we take up other matters, we would like to congratulate this representation would like to congratulate all the winners of this last electoral exercise, namely the re-electionists, Mr. President, and to those who graduated from being senators to congressmen. We have Congresswoman Lauren Legarda, who's here with us, and we have Governor Chis Escudero of Sorsogon as well. And to our friends and colleagues who were not able to make it, Mr. President, I'm sure they will do better in the next round. I personally, Mr. President, have experienced losing in one election, coming back the next. So it's something to look for them to look forward to, Mr. President.
Thank you. We make note of the, we take note of the manifestation of the Majority Leader.
Mr. President,
There
I
are a
move-
number of
yes, Mr. President.
there are a number of bills on third reading. Would you like to
Yes, Mr. President.
proceed with that before we go with the reference of business, which I think would be about 1 inch thick?
Okay, I agree with you, Mr. President. May I just ask for a 1-minute suspension? Mr. President?
Session suspended. Give them 5 minutes. Yung bataan. Bakit?
Bill, may reconsideration. Mavs, hindi alam ng sponsor.
lagi ko magtatanong party list, t-shirt na pang. Tsaka ilan yung ano, voting content. Ay,
Number 4, 5 kami sa barangay. 5. Sa Luzon, halos. Yeah. Doon kami pinaka-hindi. Yun ang pinakamababa namin.
Okay na, boss. Ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President, we have several pending bills for third reading, and we'd like to ask the indulgence of our colleagues. Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1571. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Consideration is in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we vote on third reading, Senate Bill number 1571. And we'd like to place an omnibus motion, Mr. President, that all these measures were distributed to all our colleagues, complying with the 3-day rule of our Constitution. I so move, Mr. President, on
All
third
right,
reading.
we make on record the manifestation of the Majority Leader.
May we
The
ask the
Secretary.
Secretary to read the measure and proceed with the roll call vote.
Yes. Secretary will proceed with the roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 1571, an act amending Article 83 of the Presidential Decree number 442, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines, as amended. Roll call vote, Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 17 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, Senate Bill 1571 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Joel Villanueva thanks the body for its approval and also has a manifestation to just be inserted to the records, Mr. President. His
So manifested.
manifestation.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2065.
Any objection? There being none, consideration is in order.
I move that we approve on third reading Senate Bill number 2065, Mr. President.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 2065, an act creating the positions for judges at large, amending for the purpose Batas Pambansa Bilang 129, otherwise known as the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980, and for appropriating funds therefore. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 17 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, Senate Bill 2065 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2168. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third reading Senate Bill number 2168.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 2168, an act creating the Davao International Airport Authority, transferring existing assets of Francisco Bangoy International Airport to the authority, vesting the authority with power to administer and operate the Francisco Bangoy International Airport and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
17 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, Senate Bill 2168 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2098. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on third reading Senate Bill number 2098.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 2098, an act ensuring the continuous and uninterrupted transmission and distribution of electricity and the protection of the integrity and reliability of power lines and providing penalties for violations thereof. Roll call vote, Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 18 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, Senate Bill 2098 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, may we move to resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2133. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
I move to approve on third reading Senate Bill number 2133. I so move, Mr. President.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 2133, an act further strengthening the powers and functions of the authority of the Freeport area of Bataan, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9728, otherwise known as the Freeport area of Bataan, FAB Act of 2009. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 18 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, Senate Bill 2133 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1983. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, move to approve on third reading Senate Bill number 1983.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
Senate Bill number 1983, an act establishing the Philippine Space Development and Utilization Policy and creating the Philippine Space Agency and for other purposes. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 18 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, Senate Bill 1983 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 7785. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, move to approve on third reading House Bill number 7785.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
House Bill number 7785, an act establishing a framework for the selection of national performing arts companies, designating for the purpose certain performing arts genre and appropriating funds therefore. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 18 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 7785 is approved in third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 8370. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on third reading House Bill number 8370.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
House Bill number 8370, an act requiring state universities and colleges to prepare and implement a land use development and infrastructure plan that shall include the construction of dormitories for students and housing sites for employees. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 8370 is approved in third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, move to resume consideration of House Bill number 7856. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
I move to approve on third reading House Bill number 7856.
Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
House Bill number 7856, an act declaring September 8th of every year a special working holiday in the entire country to commemorate the Feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 7856 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 5438. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third reading House Bill number 5438.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure and conduct a roll call vote.
House Bill number 5438, an act upgrading the Sub-District Engineering Office located in the Municipality of Carmona, Province of Cavite, into a regular District Engineering Office and appropriating funds therefor. Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 5438 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
The Secretary will proceed with the reference of business.
Reference of business. Messages of the President of the Philippines. Letter of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dated 14 February 2019, vetoing and returning without his signature the enrolled Senate number 1233, House Bill number 5745, entitled An Act Creating the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund, providing for its management and utilization and for other purposes, pursuant to Section 27, Paragraph 1, Article 6 of the Constitution, which veto message states that, as with the earlier related bill of the Philippine Coconut Authority, PCA, I must again affirm at the outset my solidarity with Congress with respect to the objectives underlying the present bill. It is beyond doubt that our coconut industry is beset by serious problems that government is called upon to address, and it is just as certain that the well-being of our coconut farmers should be protected and the benefits due them should be expeditiously delivered. However, as desirous as I am to sign into law the long-awaited measures that will enable us to attain these objectives, it is with much regret that I express serious concerns on the bill as presently formulated. After much deliberation, I have come to the conclusion that the bill may be violative of the Constitution and is lacking in vital safeguards to avoid the repetition of painful mistakes in the past. First, the establishment of an effectively perpetual trust fund in Senate Bill number 1233/House Bill number 5745 would violate Article 6, Section 29, Paragraph 3 of the 1987 Constitution, which provides thus: all money collected and any tax levied for a special purpose shall be treated as a special fund and paid out for such purpose only. If the purpose for which the special fund was created has been fulfilled or abandoned, the balance, if any, shall be transferred to the general fund of the government. Second, the absence of a limit on a covered land area for entitlement to the benefits of the trust fund may disproportionately benefit wealthy coconut farm owners more than the smallholder farmers who desperately need the government's affirmative assistance. Finally, the broad powers given to the PCA undermine relevant regulations and safeguards that were established precisely to avoid such abuses. While the enrolled bill is part of the common legislative agenda of the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, I regret to state that the aforestated provisions do not reflect our ultimate goal of accelerating the full utilization of cocoa levy assets and funds for the benefit of marginalized coconut farmers and coconut industry with due regard to relevant constitutional provisions. In view of these considerations, I am constrained to veto the above-mentioned enrolled bill, even as I'm hopeful that Congress and the Executive will continue working together towards a formulation of the relevant bill that is acceptable to all.
There is much to be said on this measure. We refer it to the Committee on Rules.
Letter of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dated 23 February 2019, vetoing and returning without his signature the enrolled Senate number 1477/House number 8239, entitled An Act Promoting positive and non-violent discipline, protecting children from physical, humiliating, or degrading acts as a form of punishment and appropriating funds therefore, pursuant to Section 27, Paragraph 1, Article 6 of the Constitution, which veto message states that, I believe as much as Congress does that every child should be protected from humiliating forms of punishment. To the extent that this bill would enable the state to put a stop to such forms of punishment, it is a salutary piece of legislation. However, I am gravely concerned that the bill goes much further than this, as it would prescribe all forms of corporal punishment, humiliating or not, including those done within the confines of the family home. I do not share such an overly sweeping condemnation of the practice. On the contrary, I am of the firm conviction that responsible parents can and have administered corporal punishment in a self-restrained manner, such that the children remember it not as an act of hate or abuse, but a loving act of discipline that desires only to uphold their welfare. Such manner of undertaking corporal punishment has given rise to beneficial results to society, with countless children having been raised up to become law-abiding citizens with a healthy respect for authority structures in the wider community. Regrettably, this bill places such responsible disciplining of children in the same category as humiliating and degrading forms of punishment and condemns them all in one broad stroke. Making no distinction, the bill would allow government to extend its reach into the privacy of the family, authorizing measures aimed at suppressing corporal punishment regardless of how carefully it is practiced. In so doing, the bill transgresses the proper boundaries of state intervention in the life of the family, the sanctity and autonomy of which is recognized by the Constitution. I am aware that there is a growing trend prevalent in Western nations that sees all forms of corporal punishment as an outdated form of disciplining children. I strongly believe that we should resist this trend in favor of a more balanced and nuanced approach, one that is both protective of the child as well as cognizant of the prerogatives of devoted parents who believe in the merits of corporal punishment rightly administered. The cultural trends of other countries are not necessarily healthy for our own nation. Indeed, many instances such trends are of doubtful benefit even for the very countries which originated and popularized them. To uncritically follow the lead of these countries, especially in matters as significant as the family, would be a great disservice to the succeeding generations. For these reasons, I hereby veto Senate Bill number 1477/House Bill number 4239.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
Messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House number 8899, entitled An Act Declaring August 1 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Compostela, Province of Compostela Valley, in commemoration of its founding day.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8900, entitled An Act Declaring May 15 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Quezon, Province of Palawan, to be known as the Municipality of Quezon Foundation Day in commemoration of its founding day.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8901, entitled An Act Declaring June 28 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Brooks Point, Province of Palawan, to be known as the Municipality of Brooks Point Foundation Day in commemoration of its founding day.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8902, entitled An Act Declaring September 9 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Mina, Province of Iloilo, in commemoration of its founding day.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8903, entitled An Act Declaring February 21 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Tudela, Province of Misamis Occidental, to be known as Tudela Day in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8904, entitled An Act Declaring February 28 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Tagub, Province of Misamis Occidental, to be known as Tagub Day in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8905, entitled An Act Declaring January 2 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Bonifacio, Province of Misamis Occidental, to be known as Bonifacio Day in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House number 8906, entitled An Act Declaring October 24 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Bogo, Province of Cebu, to be known as Marcelo Briones Fernan Day in honor of the late Marcelo Briones Fernan, an outstanding statesman and legal luminary.
The Committee on Local Government.
House number 8907, entitled An Act Declaring August 14 of every year a special non-working holiday in the Municipality of Santo Tomas, Province of Davao del Norte, to be known as the Municipality of Santo Tomas Foundation Day in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8913, entitled an act establishing the Technical Education Skills Development Authority, TESDA Training and Assessment Center in the city of Oroquieta, province of Misamis Occidental, to be known as the Oroquieta City TESDA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefore.
Referred to the Committees on Education, Labor, and Finance.
House Number 8914, entitled an act establishing a Technical Education Skills Development Authority, TESDA Training and Assessment Center in the municipality of Nabal, province of Biliran, to be known as the Nabal Biliran TESDA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Education, Labor, and Finance.
House Number 8915, entitled an act establishing a Technical Education Skills Development Authority, TESDA Regional Training and Assessment Center in the Mimaropa region, serving the provinces of Mindoro, Oriental and Occidental, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan, to be known as the TESDA Mimaropa Regional Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Education, Labor, and Finance.
House Number 8916, entitled an act converting the Agusan del Sur State College of Agriculture and Technology in the municipality of Bunuan, province of Agusan del Sur, into a state university, integrating therewith the satellite campus in the municipality of Trento and all other campuses to be established in the future in the province of Agusan del Sur, to be known as the Agusan del Sur State University, and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Education, Ways and Means, and Finance.
House Number 8917, entitled an act converting the Abra State Institute of Sciences and Technology in the municipality of Lagang Gilang, including its Assist Bangged campus in the municipality of Bangged, all the province of Abra, into a state university to be known as the University of Abra, and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Education, Ways and Means, and Finance.
House Number 8941, entitled an act establishing a campus at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, PUP, in the city of Santa Rosa, province of Laguna, to be known as the PUP Santa Rosa Campus, authorizing it to offer graduate, undergraduate, and short-term technical vocational courses, and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Education and Finance.
House Number 8946, entitled an act declaring September 8 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Luon, province of Bohol, to celebrate the Silak Festival, or the Festival of Lights.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8947, entitled an act declaring December 5 every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Sikatuna, province of Bohol, to be known as Datu Sikatuna Day in commemoration of its Charter Day anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8948, entitled an act declaring February 17 of every year a special working holiday in the province of Southern Leyte, to be known as the Ginsaugon Day in memory of victims of the 2006 landslide in Barangay Ginsaugon, municipality of St. Bernard, province of Southern Leyte.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8949, entitled an act declaring November 9 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Eastern Samar, to be known as the Eastern Samar Founding Anniversary.
The Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8950, entitled an act declaring June 22 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Subong-Cogon, province of Misamis Oriental, to be known as the Subong-Cogon Charter Day in celebration and commemoration of its founding anniversary.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Number 8951, entitled an act declaring the province of Nueva Vizcaya a mining-free zone and providing penalties therefore.
To the Committee on Environment.
House Number 8952, entitled an act establishing a branch office of the Home Development Mutual Fund Pag-ibig Fund in Maasin City, province of Southern Leyte.
To the Committees on Banks and Urban Planning, Housing.
House Number 8953, entitled an act creating a barangay municipality of Limay, province of Bataan, to be known as Barangay St. Francis II.
To the Committee on Local Government and Electoral Reforms.
House Number 8955, entitled an act changing the name of Bangkulasi National High School in Barangay Bangkulasi, City of Nabotas, to Angeles Memorial High School.
The Committee on Education.
House Number 8956, entitled an act renaming the Iloilo-Dumangkas Coastal Road traversing Barangays Ticod and Hinaktakan in the District of La Paz and Barangays Balabago and Bitoon in the District of Haro, both in Iloilo City, Barangays Kamangay and Nabitasan in the Municipality of Leguenes, Barangay Tubigan in the Municipality of Zaraga, Barangay Taulagis, up to Dumangas Port in Barangay Naluuyan in the Municipality of Dumangas, all in the province of Iloilo, as Congressman Narciso Dularmon 4th Highway.
To the Committee on Public Works.
House Number 8957 entitled An Act Renaming the Calibo-Banga Balete Batan Altabas National Road, which is part of the Calibo Highway stretching from the Numancia-Calibo boundary at Barangay Labinua in the municipality of Numancia, traversing Barangays Poblacion, Andagaw, Estancia, Tigayon, and Libuanan Norte in the municipality of Calibo, Barangays Libuan Sur, Humarap, Mambog, Poblacion, Tabayon, Libas, and Venturanza in the municipalities of Banga, Barangays Fulgencio, Feliciano, Calizo Morales, Poblacion, Cortes, and Aranas in the municipality of Balete, Barangays Lalab and Kabugaw in the municipality of Batan, Barangays Kabugaw, Linayasan, Ojong, Poblacion, Manup, and Barangay Kabangila up to the Capiz Aklan boundary in the municipality of Altabas, all in the province of Aklan, as Congressman Allen Salas Quimpo National Highway.
Committee on Public Works.
And House Number 8958 entitled An Act Renaming the stretch of road currently known as the North Luzon NLEX that traverses North Luzon Expressway NLEX that traverses Barangay Balintawak in Quezon City, the cities of Caloocan and Valenzuela in Metro Manila, through the city of Maykawayan in the municipalities Marilao, Bukawe, Balagtas, Giginto in the city of Malolos, the municipalities of Plaridel and Pulilan, all in the province of Bulacan, through the municipality of San Simon, the city of San Fernando, the municipality of Mexico, the city of Angeles, up to Barangay Santa Ines in the municipality of Mabalacat, all in the province of Pampanga, and which merges with MacArthur Highway and continues northward into the rest of the central northern Luzon to Marcelo H. Del Pilar Expressway, MHDPEX.
To the Committee on Public Works.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it designated Representatives Sarmiento, Vargas, Castelos, Sarmiento, E.M., Olivares, Xiao, Paduano, and Salo as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of House Number 8885 and Senate Number 1597, both entitled An Act Institutionalizing the Grant of Student Fare Discount Privileges on Public Transportation and for Other Purposes.
To the Archives.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it designated Representatives Manalo, Villarica, Salo, Calderon, and Tejada as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of House Number 8908 and Senate Number 1819, both entitled An Act Establishing the Office for Social Welfare Attaché, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 8042, otherwise known as the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act of 1995, as amended, and for other purposes.
To the Archives.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it designated Representatives Panganiban Jr., Ferredo IV, Chavez, Caminero, Swansing, and Salon as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of House Number 8857 entitled An Act Instituting the Farmers and Fisherfolk Enterprise Development Program for the Department of Agriculture, and Senate Number 1281 entitled An Act Instituting the Farmers and Fisherfolk Enterprise Development Program, the Department of Agriculture, and for other purposes.
To the Archives.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it reconsidered its approval on third reading of House Number 8909 entitled An Act Strengthening Drug Prevention and Control, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 9165 as amended, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002.
To the Committee on Rules.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 6 February 2019, it rescinded its approval on third reading of House Number 8725 entitled An Act Declaring the Pascuan Village in the city of San Fernando, province of Pampanga, a national treasure and cultural heritage and a property of public domain.
To the Committee on Rules.
Bills on first reading. Senate Number 2110 entitled An Act Allowing and Regulating the Use of Motorcycles of Public Utility Vehicles, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 4136, otherwise known as the Land Transportation and Traffic Code, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Sani Angara.
To the Committee on Public Services.
Senate Number 2211 entitled An Act Modernizing the National Measurement System, NMS, of the Philippines, creating for the purpose the National Measurement Institute of the Philippines, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Soto III.
To the Committees on Science and Technology and Finance.
Senate Number 2212 entitled An Act Increasing the Monthly Social Pension of Senior Citizens and Expanding the Coverage thereof, amending for the purpose Sections 2 and 5 of Republic Act Number 7432 as amended by Republic Act Number 9257, further amended by Republic Act Number 9994, otherwise known as the Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010, introduced by Senator Paulo Benigno Bamaquino IV.
To the Committees on Social Justice and Finance.
Resolutions, PS Resolution Number 1017 entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committees to Conduct an Inventory and Inquiry in Aid of Legislation in the Philippine Government's Policies and Projects on Fisheries and Marine Resource Conservation, Maritime Transport, Shipbuilding and Repair, Seafarers' Rights and Welfare, Marine Tourism and other matters relating to the country's maritime and ocean affairs with the end goal of formulating a comprehensive national policy on the strategic and sustainable development of the country's blue economy, introduced by Senator Sani Angara.
Referred to the Committees on Economic Affairs and Environment.
PS Resolution Number 1018 entitled Resolution Directing the Proper Senate Committees to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation to Address the Measles Outbreak in Metro Manila and other parts of the country, introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
To the Committees on Health and Local Government.
PS Resolution Number 1019 entitled Resolution Urging the Appropriate Government Authorities to Implement the Recommendations of the United Nations Human Rights Council's Working Group on Arbitrary Detention of its Opinion Number 61/2018 concerning Senator Laila M. De Lima, introduced by Senators Drilon, Pangilinan, Aquino, and Ontiveros.
To the Committee on Rules.
PS Resolution Number 1020 entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Review of Republic Act Number 4136 as amended, with the end in view of updating the provisions on penalties of violation of said act, introduced by Senator Sani Angara.
To the Committee on Public Services.
PS Resolution Number 1021 entitled A Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Implementation of Public Act Number 9513, otherwise known as Renewable Energy Act of 2008, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Energy.
PS Resolution Number 1022 entitled A Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Operations of Underperforming Distribution Utilities and the Remedies to Hold Them Accountable, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
The Committee on Energy.
PS Resolution Number 1023 entitled A Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Implementing of the NSTP Law with the end in view of strengthening the National Service Training Program in its Reserve Officers Training Corps, ROTC component, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Education and Defense.
PS Resolution Number 1024 entitled Resolution Expressing the Profound Sympathy and Sincere Condolences of the Senate of the Philippines on the death of the National Artist for Architecture Francisco Bobby Manyosa, introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
To the Committee on Rules.
PS Resolution Number 1025 entitled Resolution Urging the Senate Committees on Tourism, Public Services, and Local Government to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the status of the implementation of RA 9593, otherwise known as the Tourism Act of 2009, with the end goals of ensuring the fair treatment of our local tour guides and the staff and personnel of tourism enterprises in the continuation of a vibrant and thriving tourism in the country, introduced by Senator Grace Poe.
To the Committee on Tourism.
Communication, letters from the Office of the President of the Philippines, transmitting to the Senate 2 original copies of Republic Act Number 11213 entitled An Act Enhancing Revenue Administration and Collection by granting an amnesty on all unpaid internal revenue taxes imposed by the national government for taxable year 2017 and prior years with respect to estate tax, other internal revenue taxes, and tax on delinquencies, which was signed by President Rodrigo Duterte together with his line veto message in accordance with Article 6, Section 27, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution, which provides that the President shall have the power to veto any particular items in an appropriation, revenue, or tariff bill.
To the Archives.
Committee report number 660, submitted jointly by the Committees on Local Government, the Electoral Reforms, and People's Participation on House number 7987, introduced by Representative Macapagal Arroyo, entitled An Act Separating the Sitio of Ascomo from Barangay Pulong Masle in the municipality of Guagua, province of Pampanga, and constituting it into a distinct and independent barangay to be known as Barangay Ascomo, recommending its approval without amendment, sponsor Senator Sani Angara.
To the calendar for ordinary business. Majority Leader, we have additional reference of business, but would you like to go to the business at hand first?
May we continue with the reference of business, Mr. President,
All
additional
right.
reference of business?
All right, the Secretary will proceed with the additional reference of business.
Additional reference of business communications. Letter of the office from the Office of the President of the Philippines, transmitting to the Senate 2 original copies of the following Republic Acts joint resolution, which were signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Wala namang to the archives lahat.
These are
I'll just put on the titles, short titles.
Huh? We'll just, the secretary will just read the short titles because we're talking of, how many are these?
Ang sabi naman RA number lang, no? Kailangan
As a matter of fact,
RA number na lang.
we will ask the secretary to just read the Republic Act number because these are yes, merely transmittals. This is not first, second, or third readings. So the secretary will just read the Republic Act numbers. All of these will proceed to, will all proceed to the archives.
Letters of the office from the Office of the President of the Philippines transmitting to the Senate 2 original copies of the following Republic Acts in joint resolution which were signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Republic Act number 11167, Republic Act number 11168, Republic Act number 11169, Republic Act number 11170, Republic Act 11171, Republic Act number 11172, Republic Act number 11173, Republic Act number 1174, Republic Act number 1175, Republic Act number 1176, Republic Act number 1177, Republic Act number 1178, Republic Act number 11179, Republic Act number 11180, Republic Act number 11181, Republic Act number 11182, Republic Act number 11183, Republic Act number 11184, Republic Act number 11185, Republic Act number 11186, Republic Act number 11187, Republic Act number 11188, Republic Act number 11189, Republic Act number 11190, Republic Act number 11191, Republic Act number 11192, Republic Act number 11193, Republic Act number 11194, Republic Act number 11195, Republic Act number 11196, Republic Act number 11197, Republic Act number 11198, Republic Act number 11199, Republic Act number 11200, Republic Act number 11201, Republic Act number 11202, Republic Act number 11203, Republic Act number 11204, Republic Act number 11205, Republic Act number 11206, Republic Act number 11207, Republic Act number 11208, Republic Act number 11209, Republic Act number 11210, Republic Act number 11211, Republic Act number 11212, Republic Act number 11214, Republic Act number 11215, Republic Act number 11216, Republic Act number 11217, Republic Act number 11218, Republic Act number 11219, Republic Act 11220, Republic Act number 11221, Republic Act number 11222, Republic Act number 11223, Republic Act number 11224, Republic Act number 11225, Republic Act number 11226, Republic Act number 11227, Republic Act number 11228, Republic Act number 11229, Republic Act number 11230, Republic Act number 11231, Republic Act number 11232, Republic Act number 11233, Republic Act number 11234, Republic Act number 11235, Republic Act number 11236, Republic Act number 11237, Republic Act number 11238, Republic Act number 11239, Republic Act number 11240, Republic Act number 11241, Republic Act number 11242, Republic Act number 11243, and Joint Resolution number 4 entitled Joint Resolution Extending the Maintenance, Availability, and Release of the Funds Intended for Victims of Human Rights Violations until December 31, 2019, authorizing the Bureau of the Treasury and Land Bank of the Philippines to release funds and ensure payment of claims, and the Commission on Human Rights to administer the effective distribution of the funds to qualified victims or their heirs or representatives as provided under Republic Act number 10368, otherwise known as the Human Rights Victims Reparation and Recognition Act of 2013 as amended by Republic Act number 10766.
To the archives.
Mag-isa pa? Gusto niyo pa?
Yes. You have a second additional reference of business.
Second additional reference of business, messages of the President of the Philippines, letter of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dated 7 March 2019, pursuant to Section 27, Paragraph 1 of Article 6 of the Constitution. I am returning herewith, without my signature, the enrolled Senate number 1823/House number 7376, entitled An Act Further Strengthening the Office of the Solicitor General by Increasing its Powers and Functions and Augmenting its Employee Benefits, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9417 and Executive Order number 292 and appropriating funds therefore. While I support the strengthening of the Office of the Solicitor General, OSG, and value the work of the men and women in the OSG, as head of the executive branch, I am duty-bound to consider the subject bill not just in terms of possible favorable effects on the OSG and its personnel, but also its impact on the entire government bureaucracy. Having examined the bill in such light, I am apprehensive that the provisions thereof granting benefits beyond the current compensation framework for other government offices may prove to be too onerous to the government for the following reasons. The new benefits granted in addition to the benefits enjoyed by other government offices should erode the national government's thrust to standardize and rationalize the current compensation framework of the bureaucracy. B, it will create too much disparity and inequality among the public servants, the executive branch. And C, it will undermine the principle of equal pay for work of equal value. I thus urge Congress to prioritize reviewing this measure once again so that our shared objective of strengthening the OSG would be realized without undermining other equally vital fiscal and policy considerations. In view of the foregoing, I am constrained to veto the above-mentioned enrolled bill.
To the Committee on Rules.
Letter of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dated 13 March 2019 pursuant to Section 27, Paragraph 1, Article 6 of the Constitution, returning herewith without my signature the enrolled Senate number 1997, House number 8637, entitled An Act Creating the Regional Investment in Infrastructure Coordinating Hub of Central Luzon, providing funds therefore and for other purposes. This administration fully recognizes the significant role of private investors in the economy. Such recognition is underscored by a number of policies that are meant to increase investor confidence and improve the ease of doing business in the country. Equally significant in the pursuit of investments, the ongoing infrastructure projects under the Build, Build, Build program of this administration, which seeks to enhance the country's infrastructure, this being an important factor in attracting investments. However, even as the bill espouses the same growth objectives and policies stated above, I cannot support the bill, considering the provisions therein that tend to defeat these very objectives and policies in the long run. In particular, the bill has several provisions which would pose substantial fiscal risks to the country and are thus inimical to its economic growth. A key to lasting economic development is a tax system with generally low rates and a broad base. The subject bill, on the other hand, significantly narrows our tax base with its mandated incentives applicable to registered enterprises in the entire region. This renders the whole system incapable of generating a yield sufficient to sustain the country's social and economic infrastructure, and this would necessitate finding new sources of revenue through additional taxes or borrowings in the future. In the end, it is the taxpayers all over the country who are excluded from the tax incentives that will bear the brunt of the burden. The proposed bill, moreover, would maintain this mandated fiscal incentives regime for 50 long years, and this period may even be extended for yet another 50 years. Prolonging such a situation for half a century or more is likely to bring negative revenue and fiscal implications to succeeding administrations and unnecessary burden future generations. What we seek is a tax system that would alleviate the tax burden of our citizenry, one that prescribes a reasonably low rate that can compete with our neighboring states, while at the same time would significantly capacitate the government to fully implement programs and projects for the social economic well-being of our people. Further, we need a tax system that will attract the right kinds of investment that will truly benefit the majority of our people throughout the country. This can only happen by switching our attention to a more fiscally disciplined policy that in the end will be favorable for everyone. The goal is to create opportunities that will empower even the simplest contributor to our economy. In view of this consideration, I am constrained to veto the above-mentioned enrolled bill.
To the Committee on Rules.
Bills on first reading, Senate number 2213, entitled An Act Amending Section 58 of Republic Act number 8551, otherwise known as the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Public Order, Women, Public Order and Women.
Senate number 2214, entitled An Act Providing for Reorganization and Reform of the Structure of the Uniformed Members of the Bureau of Fire Protection, amending certain provisions of Republic Act number 6975 and Republic Act number 9263 and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Trillanes IV.
Referred to the Committees on Public Order and Civil Service.
Senate Number 2215, entitled An Act Requiring Sangguniang Kabataan Officials to Undergo Basic First Aid Training, introduced by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
To the Committees on Youth, Local Government, and Finance.
Senate Number 2216, entitled An Act Creating the Department of Water, Irrigation, Sewage, and Sanitation Resource Management, defining its powers and functions, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Paolo Benigno Bam Aquino IV.
To the Committees on Public Services, Civil Service, and Finance.
Senate Number 2217, entitled An Act Renaming the Veterans Memorial Medical VMMC Center located in Diliman, Quezon City to Veterans Medical Center VMC, introduced by Senator Onasan II.
To the Committee on Health.
Senate Number 2218, entitled An Act Amending Promoting the Use of Microgrid Systems for the Total Electrification of Unserved and Underserved Areas, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Energy.
Resolutions. PS Resolution Number 1026, entitled A Resolution Directing the Proper Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the status and progress of the Build program with the end in view of mitigating the risks associated with its implementation, addressing issues that impede its progress, ensuring the realization of its objectives, and safeguarding national security and public interests, introduced by Senator Recto.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
PS Resolution Number 1027, entitled Resolution Calling for Investigation in Aid of Legislation into Online Gaming in the Philippines for the purpose of updating the law to better regulate the industry and enhance revenue generation, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
To the Committees on Games and Amusement, Labor, and Ways and Means.
PS Resolution Number 1028, entitled Resolution Directing the Committee on Public Services and other appropriate Senate committees to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation on the current water crisis in Metro Manila and nearby areas, with the end goal of crafting measures that will be more effective in ensuring that there will be sustainable water supply in the Metro Manila, in its nearby areas and other areas in the country, introduced by Senator Soto III.
To the Committees on Public Services and Public Works.
PS Resolution Number 1029, entitled Resolution Directing the appropriate Senate committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the ongoing water shortage in Metro Manila, allegedly stemming from the depletion of the La Mesa watershed's reserves, determine its root causes, develop strategic short and long-term solutions to these water shortages, and hold the concerned government agencies and private water concessionaires accountable for dereliction in the provision of uninterrupted and affordable access to potable water for Metro Manila's residents, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Public Services and Public Works.
PS Resolution Number 1030, entitled Resolution to Direct the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the reported failure of Philippine offshore gaming operations, POGO, establishments to comply with government regulations with regard to their foreign national employees, leading to tax revenue losses in the end in view of crafting legislation that would increase our capability to meet the increasing challenges in implementing our laws on resident foreign nationals, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Games and Amusements, Labor, and Ways and Means.
PS Resolution Number 1031, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the targeted and systematic attacks and continued assault against lawyers, prosecutors, and judges, with the end in view of upholding the rule of law, promoting justice and accountability, and protecting democracy and human rights, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Public Order and Justice.
PS Resolution Number 1032, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the move of the Philippine government to delist certain cases of enforced disappearances from the official records of the United Nations Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Justice and Foreign Relations.
PS Resolution Number 1033, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the alleged involvement in the illegal drug trade of Michael Yang, a Chinese national and former economic advisor to President Rodrigo Duterte, and determine the extent of his influence in domestic socio-economic affairs, in particular the nature of his involvement in the country's illegal drug trade, which has reportedly worsened under the Duterte administration, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
PS Resolution Number 1034, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation regarding the targeted and continued killings of farmers, particularly in Negros Oriental, with the end in view of ensuring adherence and accountability of state law enforcers to both international human rights standards and local operating guidelines and procedures during the conduct of police operations, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
To the Committees on Public Order and Justice.
PS Resolution Number 1035 entitled Resolution Urging the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation on the presence of Chinese vessels in Philippine territories, including the dredger vessel in Lobo, Batangas, with the end in view of determining the necessary course of action to protect Philippine interests, sovereignty, and land and marine resources, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
To the Committees on Defense and Foreign Relations.
PS Resolution Number 1036 entitled A Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the dredging of sand and other aggregates in Lobo River and other bodies of water in the country, with the end in view of strengthening government mechanisms to enforce Philippine mining laws, safeguarding Philippine interests, and maintaining a balanced and healthful ecology for all, introduced by Senator Recto.
Referred to the Committee on Environment.
PS Resolution Number 1037 entitled Resolution Expressing the Strong Sense of the Philippine Senate to rebuke for being an affront to the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines and an undue interference on its judicial process, proposed resolution numbers 233 and 142 filed by some members of the United States Congress, introduced by Senator Soto III, Lacson, and Anasan II.
Referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd just like to recognize here with us today, we have fellow secretaries. Secretary Peña is here, Secretary Peña of NEDA, and we have Undersecretary Carl Chua of the DOF, and we also have from the Trade, Science, and Technology group, Secretary De La Peña is here with us. Congratulations on your space agency, the gentlemen and women of the Science and Technology. Just for the record, Mr. President.
I would like to welcome the guests.
We have just a manifestation, Mr. President. Upon conferring with the sponsor, Senator Trillanes, and the consent of the body, I move that we adopt House Bill Number 8837 as an amendment to Senate Bill Number 2159. This bill is on the National Commission of Senior Citizens Act. We have received the House version on January 30, 2019, and we have approved also our version on January 29, 2019. With that, may I reiterate my earlier motion to adopt House Bill Number 8837 as an amendment to Senate Bill Number 2159. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, House Bill 8837 is adopted to amend Senate Bill 2159.
Thank you, Mr. President. Another measure for adoption. Upon conferring with the sponsor, Senator Trillanes, and with the consent of the body, I move that we adopt House Bill Number 8844 as an amendment to Senate Bill Number 1641. This is the Bill on Philippine Fisheries Profession Act. We have received the House version on January 30, 2019, and we have approved our version on August 7, 2018. With that, may I reiterate my earlier motion to adopt House Bill Number 8844 as an amendment to Senate Bill Number 1641. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 8844 is adopted as an amendment to Senate Bill 1641.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, these are designations to our members to the bicameral conference committees. With the permission of the body, Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the Senate President's designation of Senate conferees to the bicameral conference committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill Number 2098 and House Bill Number 6276. This is the Anti-Obstruction of Power Lines Act 2018.
The following members are hereby designated as Senate conferees to the bicameral conference committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 2098 and House Bill 6276. Senator Sherman Gatchalian as chairperson, and Senators Binay, Ejercito, and Drilon on the part of the minority. So designated.
That the sponsor had asked me what it was. It's the Anti-Obstruction of Power Lines Act of 2018, for the information of Senator Gatchalian, the chairperson. Mr. President, there is a request of Senator Richard Gordon that I resume consideration of Senate Bill Number 2207 I so move, Mr. President.
2207.
This is just the act revitalizing, this is the act revitalizing the basis conversion development, amending for the purpose of Republic Act 7227, otherwise known as the Basis Conversion Development Act of 1992.
So your
President.
motion is to consider
Yes, Mr. President, he has a manifestation that we...
before we act, for a manifestation.
Yes,
All
on
right,
that measure,
before
Mr.
we act on the motion, we would like to recognize Senator Richard Gordon.
Mr. President, I just wanted to manifest that because I know that the floor may not be ready to interpolate right away or to continue with it. I do know that Senator Dillon has graciously told me that he will be ready by Wednesday and that he will read the bill. And, you know, we got vetoed with the Rich Bill. I just want to make sure that these areas in Central Luzon, such as Subic and Clark, will still be alive, Mr. President. And so we are trying to get this off the ground before this, before the expiration of our term here. So with all due respect, I thank Senator Dillon. And in case others who may want to interpolate, I'm putting it on notice that we are ready to accept interpolations. Thank you, Mr. President.
So, Majority Leader, you will not consider it today.
No, Mr. President, with that manifestation,
All right.
we will, the proper motion is to withdraw my previous motion on reconsideration.
All right, the motion is withdrawn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, there are a couple of measures for sponsorship. With the permission of the body, I'll just look for the bills, Mr. President. Under the stewardship of Senator Grace Poe, but she's not.
What about the measures for amendments?
May I ask for 1 minute suspension?
The session is suspended. Neda? Kayo? Oh, sige. Si Frank ready daw dun sa Neda. Neda Charter, oh. Oh. Ready si Frank. Tanong mo sa kanya. Sure. Sure. Tanong mo kay Frank yung Neda.
Ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session resumed.
Mr. President, may I just ask for a third additional reference of business?
Secretary will proceed with the third additional reference of business.
Committee report number 661, submitted by the Committee on Public Services on House number 6317, introduced by Representative Tugna et al., entitled, An Act Granting the Magnum Air Skyjet Inc. a franchise to establish, operate, and maintain domestic international air transport services, recommending its approval with amendment, sponsor Senator Grace Poe.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have an important measure pending for amendments. I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 2120 and the committee report number 525.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. The status is it's in the period of amendments, rather, and we'd like to recognize the sponsor, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, and to provide our amendments, Senator, the distinguished minority leader, Senator Frank Dillon.
Senator Gatchalian is recognized to continue the sponsorship, and the minority leader, Senator Frank Dillon, is recognized to propose amendments.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm ready to receive some proposed amendments, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the gentleman yield once more the floor for the spirit of amendments? Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President. I'll be more than happy to receive some proposals, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I was handed a list of amendments captioned Senator Gatchalian amendments. Will these amendments be introduced?
Yes, Mr. President. This is in line with some of the discussion points that I raised with the good minority floor leader, Mr. President.
So this will be introduced later on after I have proposed our amendments that can be accepted or rejected by the sponsor? Is that
Yes,
how it
Mr.
is?
President.
Okay, thank you. With that understanding, Mr. President, we shall proceed to propose certain amendments. First on page 1, line 2, obviously the year 2018 should now be 2019. So move, Mr. President.
I accept, Mr. President.
Accepted. Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
Mr. President, the basis of this bill is the constitutional duty imposed on Congress to establish an independent economic and planning agency under Section 9, Article 12 of the Constitution. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Mr. President.
Now, having said that, Mr. President, just for purposes of my proposed amendments, when we say independent from whom, Mr. President?
Mr. President, in a sense, independence, the proposed independence, or the independence being mentioned here, is to enable NEDA to integrate the different plans and policies of the different departments, Mr. President. However, the independence is limited to because the President still heads the NEDA board.
Yes.
In this case, Mr. President.
With the President as the head of the NEDA board, it cannot be independent of the executive branch. It is part of the executive branch.
Mr. President, correct, Mr. President, because the independence here cannot be compared to the independence such as the ones enjoying by the central bank or the monetary board, because they exercise complete independence from the executive branch. But in this case, the independence come in the form of monitoring and integrating the policies and programs of the various different departments. This is in line, Mr. President, of crafting medium-term and long-term policies, Mr. President.
Well, yes, Mr. President. In fact, the proceedings of the Constitutional Commission indicates that NEDA is independent of Congress, not of the executive branch, because by provision of the Constitution, NEDA is headed by the President. So it's just independent from Congress now.
Correct, Mr. President.
The second paragraph, the purpose of this bill is to abolish the present NEDA.
Not abolish, Mr. President.
But practically this is a new charter, and therefore by implication, Executive Order number 230 is repealed. And in fact, just for the record, the second paragraph of Section 9, Article 12 says, until Congress provides otherwise, the NEDA shall function as the independent planning agency of the government. And in the Constitutional Commission's debate, Christian Monsod, one of the commissioners, expressly stated that the NEDA, which was existing at the time, under Executive Order 230, can be abolished. And that is why we're abolishing the present NEDA and replacing it with the NEDA under the proposed bill if passed by Congress.
Correct, Mr. President, but we are under this understanding that under the proposed measure, NEDA will be restructured rather than completely abolished, Mr. President. So certain parts, actually majority of the components of NEDA will remain as is, Mr. President, defining their powers and defining the structure within NEDA, Mr. President.
In fact, Mr. President, we go now to Section 3 of the bill, and Section 3 of the bill provides that Section 3 provides for the establishment of an independent economic and planning agency which shall be known as the National Economic Development and Development Authority, hereinafter referred to as the NEDA. Mr. President,
The other session is adjourned.
Hindi naman.
Well, just for the record, the chair
Konti lang.
thinks that the thesis being propounded by the minority leader is correct. You are creating NEDA now. Di ba? Just read Section 3. This is establishing NEDA. Therefore, it's correct. The executive order is removed thereafter, after we pass this.
in fact, the title of the measure says so, Mr. President.
Yes, technically. Ano?
Anyway,
Anyway, sige,
Mr. President.
proceed.
Just, well, Mr. President, as we said, we are now on page 2, section 3. We move to delete lines 7 to 22. Line 7 to 22 creates two entities. Line 17 to 22.
17, no.
Line 17 to 22 on page 2. It creates two entities which appears to be the only animal in the bureaucracy if we approve this. There is NEDA and there is NEDA board. Why don't we just have NEDA governed by a board, which is what is provided in the other sections of the bill. So NEDA is the entity. It is the board that governs the NEDA as found in some other in the subsequent sections. So we find line 17 to 22 totally unnecessary, and it just creates confusion.
What does the sponsor say?
Mr. President, 1 minute suspension, Mr. President.
Session suspended.
Ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. And upon consulting the Senate President, we also agree to the proposed amendments of the good minority floor leader, Mr. President.
So the amendment is accepted. Any objection? The chair hears none. The amendment is adopted.
All right. We, on section 4, Mr. President, which is on page 2, starting with line 24, we move to delete section 4. That is from page 2, line 24, up to page 4, line 9, and substitute the same with the following language. Section 4, powers and functions. The NEDA shall formulate and recommend to Congress and implement continuing integrated and coordinated programs and policies for national development after due consultations with the appropriate public agencies, various private sectors, and the local government units, close quote. This is a reproduction of Section 9, Article 12 of the Constitution, which defines the function of NEDA. Mr. President, first, we would like to explain this amendment with the permission of the sponsor. This provision, as presently written under Section 4, in our humble view, Mr. President, suffers from a constitutional infirmity. Why? Under Section 7, under Article 7, Section 1 of the Constitution, the executive power shall be vested in the President of the Philippines. Under the present bill, that executive power, insofar as national economic planning is concerned, is transferred to the NEDA board, as it is not the President who will approve such plans. I repeat, under the measure, it is now the NEDA board, not the President, who approves such economic plans. EO 230 clearly provides that it is the President who approves. In this bill that is being amended so that it is not the President who will approve the plans, and in contravention of Article 7, Section 1, which provides that only the President can exercise executive power. The President has the mandate, and not the other members of the Cabinet or other members of the Board of NEDA proposed. The power to approve national economic plans as provided in the proposed measure goes beyond the constitutional mandate of NEDA under Article 12, Section 9 of the Constitution, where the NEDA is designated as the planning agency. Let me repeat that. The contemplation of the Constitution is that NEDA is a planning agency, not an approving authority. The Cabinet Secretaries, Mr. President, including the present NEDA Secretary, derives their mandate from the President. They have no separate mandate. It is the President who has the mandate. That is why the Constitution locates to the President the executive power, not the members of the Cabinet. That is a very important distinction because, Mr. President, to approve a national economic plan is the power of the highest elected official of the land, the President, as it is an exercise of an executive authority. To move the power to the NEDA board is moving the constitutional boundaries, which cannot be done, Mr. President. The present law, as we said, Section 6 of EO 230, clearly delineates and follow that constitutional boundary. It is the President, not the NEDA or its board, who approves national economic plans. The plan to move this constitutional boundary is evident on pages 5 and 6, on page 6, pages 5 and 6, on page 6, particular lines 16 to 18, and where it is provided that the interagency committees are mandated to submit recommendations to the NEDA board for approval. Let me emphasize that. The recommendations of the interagency committees are submitted to the NEDA board for approval. And the President theoretically can be outvoted in the NEDA board, especially that the NEDA board can meet without the President so long as there is a quorum and as long as the NEDA secretary is present. And it is, therefore, it is, when it is in our view, this is the undue expansion of the powers of NEDA under the Constitution and encroaches upon the executive power of the President. When we examine closely the powers of the Interagency Committee, Mr. President, we note that except for matters of national security and peace and order, the matters within the jurisdiction, the jurisdiction of this Interagency Committee encompasses the whole gamut of governance. So that, Mr. President, we are making this manifestation because in our view, the in the bill, we should emphasize and adjust it so that it is the President who approves, not the NEDA board. Because this is we're looking, reviewing, and rereading the bill, it would appear that the NEDA board is a super body that no policy can be adopted without the approval of the board. On that basis, Mr. President, we therefore propose to delete the entire Section 4 and substitute the same with the amendment we have proposed, which amendment is the basically an adoption of Section 9, Article 12 of the Constitution. We submit, Mr. President.
Does the sponsor say?
Mr. President, again, 1 minute suspension just to review and consult the...
Yes. Before the suspension, may we listen to the President Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just a clarification before we close this period. Is it correct that the minority leader wants to change all the language in Section 4 with regard to the powers and functions of NEDA? And the reason for such is that the minority leader read certain provisions of the Constitution and says that in this section, this NEDA, in Section 4, powers and functions of NEDA,
And Section
are
8.
separate and distinct from the NEDA board, because there are really two types of NEDA. That is my understanding, Mr. President. One is that you have the NEDA as a planning agency, as a secretariat, by and large. That is the day-to-day office of the secretary. Then you also have part of NEDA, which is what you call the NEDA board. Okay? Basically, the NEDA board has also committees, and based on these committees, they present advice to the President during NEDA board meetings, Mr. President. And that is where the President comes in to approve, for example, certain projects for ODA, or for certain projects that may be coursed through PPP. That is how the process works, Mr. President. So, there is nothing here that says, my understanding
Yes.
is that there is nothing here that says in Section 4 that NEDA as an institution can approve anything.
Yes.
Everything goes to the office of the President, Mr. President.
I can enumerate the provisions which requires approval of NEDA in very clear language. And under the Constitution, as I said, this is an executive power reserved to the President under EO 230. This is subject to the approval of the President. But in this particular case, it is approval of the NEDA board, of which the President is only the head.
If we go to that particular section, I was just reading it, Mr. President, and I just want to be clarified on the matter.
Yes.
And that's why I'm asking the question, Mr. President. Now that I look at section, moving toward the NEDA board, that is found in Article 2 of the bill, page 4, as separate and distinct from section 4. Okay? The NEDA board in this section, first the composition of the NEDA board. Okay? Then this section also talks about creating interagency committees, okay, such as the DBCC, Development Budget Coordinating Committee, such as Investment Coordinating Committee. Coordination lang do, ha? Nothing here, they do not approve projects. Infrastructure Committee. And if you read closely, most of them will talk, review and submit to the President a status of the fiscal, monetary, and balance of payments. Recommend, review, recommend for presidential approval the level of annual government expenditure. Recommend the budget to be allocated for current. So nothing here.
No.
The NEDA board, by itself, does not approve anything. It is the President, during the NEDA board meetings in the palace, that approves. The NEDA board in this, the Secretariat only recommends. That is my understanding. That is the process that I've seen when I was a former Secretary of NEDA.
Yes, that is correct, Mr. President. Under the present Executive Order 230,
Yes.
that is the process.
Correct.
And the good senator was the NEDA Secretary under EO 230.
That is correct.
I invite your attention, Mr. President,
Yes.
to page 8,
Page 8.
section 8, I'm sorry, section 8, paragraph 4 on page 6.
Page 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Section 8 says,
Section 8.
in the exercise of authority, the NEDA board shall, number 1,
Section 8, huh? Wait.
Sorry?
What page? What page? Section 8?
section, okay, page 5,
Page 5. Okay.
section 8.
Okay.
Let me read it for the record.
Yes.
Section 8, exercise of authority. In the exercise of authority, the NEDA board shall, jump to page 6, number 4,
Okay.
approve and endorse to Congress the integrated development plans and programs, etc. Determine the level of annual government expenditures. Approve and confirm projects. Direct the reorganization, establishment of interagency committees. These are not indications of planning. And I can point out to you, Mr. President, the other portions of the bill where again,
now.
the essence is approval by the NEDA board as contrasted to the present law, which says, where the NEDA board is only recommendatory, and it is the President who approves. The approval as presently practiced is done in the course of the NEDA board meetings. But nevertheless, the President approves. In this particular case, it is the NEDA board who approves?
I understand, now that I see this particular language in Section 8,
Yes.
I understand the point of the minority leader, and maybe that there is a need, when you get to Section 8, to amend these particular provisions.
Well, Mr. President, precisely we will move also to delete Section 8, and the powers of NEDA is as outlined in the Constitution. That is
Understood.
an amendment.
Yes.
Because we cannot go beyond what the Constitution says, and therefore it is best that we just state the provision of the Constitution on the powers of NEDA, rather than include all of these powers which can go beyond that constitutional boundary. When we say prioritize policies and strategies, etc., as the basis of a budget expenditure, what is that? Isn't that an executive? Isn't that the function of the president as a chief executive?
Thank you, Mr. President, for the clarification. I understand now where the minority leader is coming from. Thank you very much.
So we have a pending proposal to amend Section 4 in the manner that we have proposed, Mr. President.
Yes, the sponsor asked for a minute suspension, so we will grant the minute suspension unless he is ready to accept.
1 minute
We
suspension.
proceed with the suspension.
Sir, nagpapasabi sir ang PLO na ni-remind tayo na against po ang DBM sa DOF doon sa senior citizen. Baka daw sir, baka expect tayo ng
Ano senior citizen?
Yung sir, yung pati kanina, creating.
Kasi originally walang end yan. Sa mga yung under kay Marcos pa lang, nilagay niya yung end just to distinguish na investment program 7.1. That includes approval of projects, land expenditures.
Session is resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Joe
Mr. President,
Leader.
Mr. President, while they're correcting the amendments, the possible amendments to the NEDA measure, we move to suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2120 for a later hour. So moved.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is hereby suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to calendar of special orders House Bill number 8179.
Hearing no objection, so transferred.
With the consent of the body, Mr. President, I move that we consider House Bill number 8179. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Consideration of the measure is in order. The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
House Bill number 8179, an act granting Solar Para sa Bayan Corporation a franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, and maintain distributable power technologies and mini-grid systems throughout the Philippines to improve access to sustainable energy.
May we recognize the sponsor, Mr. President, Senator, the distinguished lady Senator, Senator Grace Poe, to sponsor the measure.
Senator Grace Poe is recognized to sponsor the measure.
Mr. President, fellow members of this august chamber, magandang hapon po. As chairperson of the Committee on Public Services, it is my honor to deliver this sponsorship speech for Committee Report number 659. The committee report recommends the approval of House Bill number 8179, which seeks to grant legislative franchise to Solar Para sa Bayan with amendments. Solar Para sa Bayan prides itself as a company with a social mission to fight climate change and alleviate poverty through the use of affordable technology. In fact, in 2018, Solar Para sa Bayan installed the largest mini-grid for the town of Paluan, Occidental Mindoro to bring 24/7 power to the community. From then on, it has worked on bringing mini-grid technologies to communities across the country, paving the way for affordable, reliable, and clean electricity for every Filipino. Mr. President, in its present form, the Senate Committee Report is more than an energy or power-related bill. It is now a social justice legislation to provide and to cater to remote, unviable, unserved, and underserved areas in the country in terms of electrification. Initially, and as recommended by the members of the committee, the following areas are targeted for the improvement of power technology and sustainable solar services: Aurora, Bohol, Cagayan, Camiguin, Compostela Valley, Davao Oriental, Isabel, Masbate, Misamis Occidental, Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, and Tawi-Tawi. There are other amendments in the committee report in which it can be gleaned that the exclusivity aspect is removed and assuring present and future stakeholders and players of fair play and competition. Mr. President, Solar ng Bayan is not just a viable partner in generating electricity, but they are now generating opportunities and jobs for our Filipino people. Kasama natin ang Solar Para sa Bayan sa pagbibigay oportunidad at higit sa lahat trabaho sa bawat Pilipino. Katulad po ng huling mga committee reports natin na ngayon ay halos mga batas na, the committee integrated a new provision mandating the grantees to create decent and productive employment opportunities as well as apprenticeship programs or on-the-job trainings for students and young Filipinos. The provision is consistent with the labor standards ordained in existing law and is reflected in the General Information Sheet submitted annually to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Maraming trabaho para sa mga bagong graduate, para sa lahat ng Pilipino. Having said all of that, I thus seek the speedy approval of Committee Report number 659. Thank you, Mr. President.
Happy birthday.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Chairman, nasa floor kasi
Hindi,
ako.
kay Lord. Kay check pala yun.
Is there a co-sponsor to the
Yes.
measure?
No, Mr. President. Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of the measure.
To give time to the other members to study the proposed measure.
Yes, Mr. President. That's
All
correct.
right, the session, the consideration of the measure is suspended.
Mr. President, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to the calendar for special orders. House Bill number 6317 on the committee report number 661.
Hearing no objection, so transferred.
Mr. President, I move that we consider House Bill number 6317. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order. Secretary
ask the
will read the
Secretary?
title of the measure.
House Bill number 6317, an act granting the Magnum Air Skyjet Inc. a franchise to establish, operate, and maintain domestic and international air transport services.
Mr. President, we recognize the sponsor, Senator Grace Poe, to sponsor the measure.
Senator Grace Poe is recognized.
Mr. President, fellow members, magandang hapon muli. As chairperson of the Committee on Public Services, it is my honor to deliver a sponsorship speech for Committee Report number 661. The committee report recommends the approval of the House Bill number 6317, which seeks to grant legislative franchise to Magnum Air Skyjet. Magnum Air has been providing the country with vital air transportation services to various parts of the country. Since 2012, the company, popularly known as Skyjet, provides regularly scheduled commercial flights to enable every Filipino to experience the beauty of the country has to offer. Mula Batanes hanggang Siargao, malayo at maraming mararating sa abot-kayang halaga, ito ang tatak ng Skyjet. In consideration of the Magnum Air franchise, we sought the assistance of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Civil Aviation Board, and relevant agencies, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and other government agencies and institutions, and relevant to air operations. Magnum Air was given good information and recommendations. Mr. President, I say with pride na makakasama po natin ang Magnum Air sa pagbibigay oportunidad at higit sa lahat trabaho, maraming trabaho. Katulad po ng huling mga committee reports natin na ngayon ay halos mga batas na, the committee integrated a new provision mandating the grantees to create decent and productive employment and also on-the-job training. The provision is consistent with the labor standards ordained in existing law and is reflected in the General Information Sheet submitted annually to the Securities Exchange Commission. Having said all of that, I thus seek the speedy approval of Committee Report number 661. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. With that, we move to suspend consideration of the same measure.
Any objection? Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Senator Gordon would like to make a manifestation, Mr. President. May we recognize Senator Gordon?
Senator Gordon is recognized.
President, I just raised back here when I heard that this bill is being sponsored already by the Honorable Lady, and I just want to manifest my support because Camiguin is what we call a missionary destination. It's a beautiful city, beautiful province, whose development is waiting to really explode and happen. And that is why the opening of a line, an airline going to Camiguin, will certainly augur very well for a tourism site that is indeed one of the best in the country. It has lanzones, it has white sand beaches, it has hibuk, it has the underground cemetery,
Hot springs.
and the only spring that is emerald in color. And I've been up and down that island, and I'm glad finally somebody decided to be an entrepreneur and take a risk and invest in an airline that will take passengers to go there. I have been Secretary of Tourism, and I know that this bill is in the right place. Certainly will bring development towards that province, small province indeed, but nonetheless, very, very good destination. So, Boracay, watch out. This should be the next Boracay,
Absolutely.
because indeed it is a very, very good place with a lot of, I hope that we do not pillage it by making sure that we overload the environment when we do that. So I hope that we can make sure that the Department of Tourism protects this site. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And with the permission of the Secretary, with the Senator Poe, I would like to co-sponsor the measure as I have done already.
So manifested.
With the permission also of Senator Poe, if I can also be made co-sponsor, Mr. President, we'd like to show appreciation to Skyjet. During the hearing, Mr. President, I happened to mention to him if they could fly to Camiguin in northern Mindanao, where I'm from. And he gladly agreed to the proposal, and they're now flying in Camiguin, and according to him, they have a number of passengers per flight. Almost 3/4 of the plane is full. The passengers no longer need to go to Cebu to fly to Camiguin. And what I appreciate about Skyjet, Mr. President, is that they go do the missionary routes. They were the first to fly to Siargao when Siargao was not even popular. And according to him, according to them, the officers, at that time it was only 20 pesos per square meter in Siargao. Now it's 25,000 to 30,000 per square meter when they were flying there close to 10 years ago. So tourism really is the key, Mr. President, for development in the countryside, and we need to support these boutique airlines, small airlines that go to and fro these small destinations that can really be new tourism names in the future. So with that, Mr. President, I just reiterate my motion to suspend consideration of the measure. We'll take it again up for second and third reading, hopefully within the week.
Yes, it has been suspended, so you may proceed with another
Yes, Mr. President.
item on the agenda.
There are 3 tourism bills online requested by the committee, by the chairperson of the Committee on Tourism. However, we're just trying to coordinate with the Senate Minority Floor Leader.
May we have a few minutes of suspension?
Yes, Mr. President, I move to suspend for a few minutes.
All right. Session suspended for a few minutes. Saan si Migs? Ah, yun.
Ready to resume, Mr. President?
Session resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, there are 3 local bills here for tourism designation. I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 6800. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration is in order.
This is an act declaring Pinsal Falls and Municipality of Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur, a tourism destination, providing its development and appropriating funds thereof. Therefore, we are in the period of interpellation. No member wishes to interpellate the measure. I move to close the period of interpellation.
Any objection? There being none, period of interpellation is closed.
Mr. President, there being no member also to wish, Nancy, no amendments? There being no amendments as well, Mr. President, no individual or committee, I move to close the period of amendments. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, period of committee and individual amendments are hereby closed.
I move to approve on second reading House Bill number 6800.
Any objection? Chair hears none. House Bill?
House Bill number 6800.
House Bill 6800 is hereby approved on second reading.
I move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration is suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we consider House Bill number 6798. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration is in order.
Mr. President, this is the act declaring Candon City Ecotourism Zone. There being no members who wish to interpellate, Mr. President, I move that we close the period of interpellation.
Any objection?
May I
There
ask,
being none? Yes.
may I ask for a 1-minute suspension?
Before we act on the motion, session is suspended.
If you don't have a bill, you can go. Nawala ko sa mga local governments na tinutulak mo. That's why.
Ako may isa, pero wala pa dyan. Wetland lang. Taas. Eh, local din na. Alagay nagtatawag, seryoso. Ay ako pang may nagtatawag tayo. Hindi naman na. President, lahat tayo wala nang mangyayari pag inuutos.
All right. Session is resumed.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to suspend consideration first on House Bill number 6798. I so move, Mr. President.
The motion that you...
Yes, I was moving for its second reading approval. I move
Any
to suspend
objection? There
consideration.
being none, consideration is suspended.
Mr. President, I move to reconsider House Bill number 6800.
Your motion is to reconsider the passage, the approval on second reading.
Yes, Mr.
Any
President.
objection? There being none, consideration, we are reconsidering
Yes,
6800.
My apologies, Mr. President. We conferred with the chairperson. She forgot that there were some committee amendments that we need to be set in place. So I move for the opening of the committee or the amendments, period of amendments, Mr. President.
Any objection? The chair hears none. Period of amendment is open.
Mr. President, move to recognize the sponsor, Senator Nancy Binay, for the committee amendments.
Senator Nancy Bina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 1, before section 2, insert a new section which shall read as follows. Section 2, the technical descriptions of Pinsal Falls being declared a tourist destination are as follows. Beginning at a point marked 1, paano itong mga degrees? Being north, 75 degrees 40 east. Tama ba?
The majority leader.
Mr. President, can we just insert
May-
into the records the
We can,
technical?
we can, because of the technical description and the language that is being presented, the chair would like to entertain a
Yes, Mr.
motion
President.
to
With the permission of the body,
to insert into the records the
Yes.
the definition of the technical description.
yes, Mr. President, with the permission of the body, we move to insert to the records as the amendment for this measure, the committee report submitted by Senator Nancy Binay, our sponsor,
As reflected in the
as
committee
reflected in the
report.
committee report.
All right. Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the same page, line 6, before the phrase, the DOT, insert the phrase, within 1 year after the approval of this act, and the punctuation mark, comma. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Amendment is adopted.
On the same page and line, before the acronym DOT, change the capital letter T in the article the to small letter t. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is adopted.
On the same page, line 8, between the word installation and conjunction, and insert the punctuation mark, comma.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On page 2, line 3, between the word area and the punctuation mark period, insert the punctuation mark colon and the phrase provided further that any activities and developments to be carried out in the area should conform with the concept of ecotourism as provided in the National Ecotourism Strategy jointly issued by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DENR, and the DOT. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none, amendment is adopted.
On the same page, line 4, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the phrase and its concerned attached agencies. And I so move.
Any objection? The chair hears none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 5, between article the and the word development, insert the word tourism. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 15, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the punctuation mark, comma, the phrase in consultation with the local government of Santiago, and the punctuation mark, comma, and. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is adopted.
Renumber the sections accordingly. I
So renumbered. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
With that, there are no other amendments. We move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? The chair hears none, period of amendment is closed.
Mr. President, move to approve on second reading House Bill number 6800.
Any objection? Chair hears none, House Bill 6800 is approved on second reading.
Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 6798. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, we also would like to open once again the period, with the permission of the body, we open the period of committee amendments, Mr. President. So
Any
moved, Mr.
objection? Period of committee amendment is open.
Huwag na. Huwag na ako
6, 7, 9, 8. Huwag mo na tanongin, local na naman. Later na, after all is
6, 7,
done, you
9,
can ask her. May we recognize the sponsor for the committee amendments, Mr. President?
Senator Nancy Bina is recognized.
On page 1, before section 2, insert a new section which shall read as follows. Section 2, the technical descriptions of the Candon City Ecotourism Zone being declared a tourist destination are as follows. Beginning at the point marked 1 being identical to MBM
Majority
number
Leader. Majority
31.
Leader, we would like to entertain a motion
Yes, Mr. President. With the permission of the
just
body.
the same as the other.
Yes, Mr. President. We move that, Mr. President, that the technical description
Be
be adopted as the committee amendment, as written in the
As
committee report.
reflected in the
Reflected
committee
in the
amendment.
committee report. Yeah, so move, Mr.
That will be up to page 4 of the committee report. All right.
Yes, Mr.
Any
President.
objection? There being none, the proposed amendment is adopted. As reflected.
On the same page, line 9, between the word installation and conjunction and, insert the punctuation mark, comma. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, amendment is approved.
On page 2, line 4, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the phrase and its concerned attached agencies. I so move.
Any objection? Chair hears none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 5, between article the and the word development, insert the word tourism. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 15, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the punctuation mark, comma, the phrase in consultation with the local government unit of Candon, and the punctuation mark, comma.
Any objection?
I
There-
so move.
There being none, amendment is approved.
Renumber the sections accordingly.
So renumbered.
Thank you,
Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading House Bill number 6798. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 6798 is approved on second reading.
Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration House Bill number 6799. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Considered.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an act declaring Santiago Cove in the municipality of Santiago, province of Ilocos Sur, as a tourist destination. Mr. President, I move to close the period of interpellation as there are no members who wish to interpellate. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, period of interpellation is closed.
Mr. President, move to open the period of amendments and recognize the sponsor for any amendments.
Senator Nancy Bina is recognized for the period of committee amendments.
On page 1 before section 2, insert a new section which shall read as follows. Mr. President, can we just adopt the technical description?
As reflected in the committee
Yeah, as
report.
reflected on the committee report.
I so move, Mr. President. We concur.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 6, before the phrase the DOT, insert the phrase within 1 year after the approval of this act and the punctuation mark, comma. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On the same page and line before the acronym DOT, change the capital letter T in the article the to small letter t. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 8, between the word installation and conjunction and insert the punctuation mark, comma. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On the same page, line 12, between the word area and the punctuation mark period, insert the punctuation mark colon and the phrase provided further that any activities and developments to be carried out in the area should conform with the concept of ecotourism as provided in the National Ecotourism Strategy jointly issued by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and the DOT. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is approved.
On page 2, line 1, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the phrase and its concerned attached agencies. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendments approved.
On the same page, line 2, between article the and the word development, insert the word tourism. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendments approved.
On the same page, line 12, between the acronym DOT and the word shall, insert the punctuation mark, comma, the phrase in consultation with the local government unit of Santiago, and the punctuation mark, comma. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, amendments approved.
On the same page, line 14, after the word proclamations, delete the conjunction and in lieu thereof, insert the punctuation mark, comma, and.
Any objection? There being none, amendments approved.
Renumber the sections accordingly, Mr. President.
So renumbered. Majority Leader.
Thank you,
With that,
Mr.
we move to
President.
close the period of amendments, Mr. President.
Any objection? The chair hears none. The period of amendments is closed.
Mr. President, we move to approve House Bill number 6799. I so move, Mr. President, on second reading.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 6799 is approved on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
We have just 3 other local bills, Mr. President. Who are your bills? Bro? Pinyan. Ready. Mr. President, I move, with the permission of the body, to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to special orders, House Bill number 5260. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? The chair hears none. So transferred.
Mr. President, I move that we consider House Bill number 5260. Ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
Pinyan.
House Bill number 5260, an act declaring February 3 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Biñan, province of Laguna, to be known as Biñan Liberation Day.
Consideration measure is in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. We recognize the sponsor, Senator Sani Angara.
Senator Sani Angara is recognized to sponsor the measure, or the continuation of the sponsorship. Is that?
We've already sponsored it, Mr.
Oh, you
President,
already
just
sponsored it.
for interpellation.
All right.
Oh, my apologies, Mr. President. It's here in my paper that it's for sponsorship. Oh, Senator Lauren will co-sponsor.
She
My
said
apologies,
she's
Mr.
no-
President. So
She
I
will
would
no
like to
longer
correct-
sponsor, she just wishes to be associated with the
Yes,
measure.
my apologies, Mr. President. I made a mistake there. Therefore, just to move to consider the measure and for Senator Angara to sponsor, to continue sponsoring the measure, Mr. President. I so move, Mr. President.
All right.
My
Any
apologies.
objection? There being none, motion is approved.
There being no member who wishes to interpellate, Mr. President, I move to close the period of interpellation. Yes, except this one is non-working. Yes. Binyan is non-working.
This is going to be known as the Biñan Liberation Day. The sponsor?
Sorry, Mr. President?
It's going to be known as the Biñan Liberation Day.
May we recognize the minority floor leader?
I'll leave it to the minority leader. I was about to ask. Minority leader is recognized.
Mr. President, we note that the bill declares a non-working holiday in Biñan. Is that how I understand it, Mr. President, with the permission of the sponsor?
That's correct, Mr. President.
Now, we have a consensus in the Senate that insofar as these dates are concerned, we can pass it provided it is a working holiday.
Can I have a 1-minute suspension, Mr. President? Can I ask for a 1 minute?
Session suspended.
Ready to resume, Mr. President?
Session resumed.
Yes, Mr. President, so that we can just be clarified on the issue on the working and non-working holiday, the sponsor would like to just confer with the authors in the House. With that, we move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 5260.
All right, consideration of the measure is suspended.
Mr. President, I move to consider House Bill number 6820. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Consideration of the measure is in order.
This is an act declaring July 23 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Batangas, province of Batangas. May we recognize the sponsor, Senator Angara, Mr. President.
Senator Angara is recognized.
There are no interpellations, Mr. President, but in line with the agreement with the minority leader. Okay. Senator Rector, Mr. President, wants to ask a question.
Just one query, Mr. President. I do support this measure. It's in Batangas City, Mr. President. But just a clarification. Assuming there was no law, what is the procedure today? Isn't it that the local governments go to the office of the President
That's right, Mr. President.
and they ask for a...
Yes, they have to do it every year.
Every year.
Yes.
And that's why the proponents of this measure, since every year binibigay naman ng Presidente to,
That's right.
by and large,
Yes,
we are now institutionalizing it.
that's correct.
And nothing prevents the proponent of this measure to go to the office of the President for a non-working holiday. Is that correct?
What's the answer to that?
Kasi normally ganun binibigay, non-working holiday.
I was told that the President, nothing stops the President from doing so.
Yes, and in most cases, if not in all cases, the President issues non-working holiday. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, I just wanted to put that on record, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
So we'll change it? You want to change it? No more? Non-working or working?
Yeah, you're working.
Working, so we'll amend it. Okay. So no other interpellations, Mr. President? If we could close the period of interpellation.
Mr. President, I move to close the period of interpellation.
Any objection? There being none, period of interpellation is closed.
Just one amendment.
May we move to open the period of amendments, Mr. President?
Period of amendment is opened. The Senator Angara, the sponsor, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. On line 2 of section 1, just to change the word non-working to working. So move.
Any objection? There being none, amendment is adopted.
No other amendments, Mr. President.
With that, we move to close the period of amendments, Mr. President.
What about the title?
Oh, uy. Uy. The title daw. You have to amend the title.
Yes, that's right. Mr. President, I also move to amend the title. And same amendment with respect to the title. So move, Mr. President.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing
Or
that out.
other, maybe a omnibus manifestation or reference to non-working, be renamed working.
All right,
Holiday.
including the title. Any objection? There being none, amendment is adopted. Senator Recto is recognized.
Since I suppose we will be closing the period of interpellations, but
Closed already.
close already. So,
Amendment.
in any event, if there are any other local bills of similar nature and that we pass, allowing for a non-working holiday, I will come back to amend this bill for it also to be a non-working holiday. Thank you very much.
Make sure that make sure that you do it within 3 days.
Yes, Mr. President. With that, Mr. President, I move to close the period of interpellation. Period of amendments. But before we do that, Mr. President, may we recognize the minority
The
floor.
minority leader, Senator Vilon, is recognized.
In view of the earlier interpellation of Senator Recto, may I propose subject to style that in effect that nothing in the bill, in the law, shall prevent the President from declaring a non-working holiday
If he so wishes.
if he so wishes.
We accept, Mr. President.
Accepted. Subject to style. Any objection? The proposed amendment is adopted.
Therefore, Mr. President, no other amendments. We move
No
to
other
close the
amendments,
period
Mr.
of amendments, Mr. President.
Thank you to the minority leader.
Move to close.
Any objection? There being none, period of amendment is closed.
Mr. President, move to approve on second reading House Bill number 6820. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 6820 is approved on second reading.
I move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
And I believe this is the last House bill for today. Mr. President, move to resume consideration of House Bill number 8698. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of the measure is in order.
This is an act declaring June 16 of every year a special working holiday in the city of Baybay, province of Leyte. Mr. President, move to close the period of interpellations since no one wishes to interpolate the measure, Mr. President.
Working.
Any objection? There being none, period of interpellation is closed.
Mr. President, I move that we open the period of amendments and recognize the sponsor, Senator Sonny Angara.
Senator Angara is recognized to proceed.
There
with
being
the
no amendments, Mr. President, we move to close the
No
period.
amendments. Any objection? There being none, period of amendment is closed.
Mr. President, move to approve on second reading House Bill number 8698.
Working.
This is, no.
This is the act declaring June 16 of every year a special working holiday, the city of Baybay, province of Leyte, to be known as the Baybay City Charter.
Then we need to amend it.
How come, sir? The title here says
What number, House Bill are you talking about?
8698?
8696, 8698.
8698, sir.
Session suspended.
9-6 siguro yung binigay sa kanya. 9-6.
Oh, 96 ang binigay.
That's Cam Norte.
Cam Norte yata yung binigay sa iyo, sir.
9-8.
Dave, saan yung mga...
Okay. Session is resumed. Majority Leader, again, let's start from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. President,
You were moving to consider House Bill 8698,
698. Yes, Mr. President.
not 96.
No, sir.
All right, so, and then we closed the period of interpellation.
That's correct, sir.
And then they closed also the period of amendments.
That's
for
correct, Mr. President.
8698,
98, sir.
which is a working holiday.
Yes, Mr. President.
All right. What is the motion now?
Mr. President, to move to approve on second reading House Bill number 8698.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 8698 is approved on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of the measure.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Same. Mr. President, I believe the gentleman, the minority floor leader, good minority floor leader, has already an agreement together with the sponsor of the House that it will be made a working holiday? Yes. Without prejudice to the President declaring it as a non-working holiday. So therefore,
which
Mr.
one is
President,
that?
we move to resume consideration of House Bill number 5260. I so move.
Any objection? Consideration of the measure is in order.
Mr. President, may we recognize the sponsor? We already closed the period of interpellation, if I'm not mistaken. So we move to open the period of amendments. I so move.
Period of amendment is open.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just similar to the Batangas bill, to amend all reference to non-working to working. So that would be in the first section as well as in the title, if I may be allowed.
And also the title.
Yes,
So
that omnibus.
firstly, that will be the amendment.
Yes.
Any objection? There being none, the amendment is adopted.
Second is to adopt the, subject to style, the Drilon proposal that nothing in this act shall prevent the President from declaring it as
a non-working holiday.
if he so desires.
All
So
right,
moved, Mr.
subject to style, any objection? There being none, amendment is adopted.
President. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader.
Therefore, we will move to close the period of amendments, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendment is closed.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading House Bill number 5260. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 5260 is approved on second reading.
Move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Okay na, everybody? With that, Mr. President, I think we've done a lot today for our first day after the grueling campaign. Mr. President, I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Tuesday, May 21, 2019. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, May 21, 2019.
Thank you.